Hi, guys. Welcome to another episode. Today, we're going to be talking about depression and more of how I see people around me become depressed or have prolonged moments of sadness, and why I believe that is, while connecting it to my own personal experiences that I will share with you guys. And the main theme here is from a wonderful Jim Carrey quote that I actually did not ever hear from him directly. Like, I don't know when he said it, where he said it. You could Google this. I'm going to read to you what has been quoted by him. You could find this on Google without swearing. This is what Jim Carrey says: Depression is your body saying, F you. I don't want to be this character anymore. I don't want to hold up this avatar that you've created in the world. It's too much for me. So I actually, when this hit me really hard, like once I heard that, not those exact words, I actually think I heard it the first time through Ariana Grande. I think she was doing an interview or some type of a podcast, and I remember her saying that Jim Carrey has this wonderful quote about depression being like when you're putting on a mask, and when that mask, it gets too hard to wear. So I never forgot just hearing those words. And basically how I took that and how I take the words that I just read to you guys, um, on Jim Carrey's wonderful quote here. By the way, I think this is something I've heard about comedians for a very long time, and that's comedians are very wise. In order to come up with content that makes you laugh, that makes all of us have a good time, they have to dig deep to things that maybe they were negative pasts in order to kind of bring joy and bring that connection to life and help others connect with their jokes and connect with each other. Sometimes they bring out like deep experiences that they've had in their lives that maybe some things were traumatic or bad, but they kind of bring the light out of it. And I always thought that that's such a magical thing, like for comedians to do. But it also reminds me that it's not that it's a very real reality that a lot of comedians could be depressed, and a lot of comedians can actually be very sad. It's almost like a coping mechanism in a sense. The way I see it is when you have been through a lot of bad and maybe dealt with depression, like one way to get out of it, obviously not many people can just become a comedian, um, is through comedy. It's kind of like adapting in the very, very harsh realities of the world sometimes. By the way, I appreciate all of you guys that are in here on the second channel of mine. Uh, as usual, please like this video if you like it, or even if you don't. I appreciate those of you guys that just hit that like button anyways before the video even gets started. Please subscribe to this channel. This is my second channel where I really love to just be able to like whenever I think of something that I want to talk about that I think is important and hopefully it helps even just one person make their day easier or feel like a connection to, that really brings me joy. So this is going to be the channel where I do that. My main channel you can find in the description below. There's a lot over there already. Over here is where I will do a lot of in the moment live streams. Um, that I won't be doing on the other channel. And you'll also see a lot of other content that I will be posting that doesn't exist on the other one. So I appreciate you guys for supporting both channels. Anyways, um, yeah. So I think about once I heard about that, like putting on a mask, like depression is putting on a mask and then really getting tired of having that mask on. It hit me really hard because I realized like that is true for me. And I see it being true, being an actual fact for everyone around me. Because how can you not? It's like it's like you're working for free Whether you're a good actor or a bad actor, actors and actresses, they get paid for their roles in Hollywood or small time films, indie films, whatever. They're getting paid for it. It's a job. It's not easy to pretend to be someone else. They don't have to do that 24 hours of the day, every single day. But if you are faking it, you're putting on a mask or you're lying to a bunch of people about who you are, what you like, I can't imagine that not being tiring. Just saying that and imagining someone who lives that is very tiring for me. And I know for a fact that through my life, I have done that without even realizing it, especially in my younger days. And so I'll start it off with I will never like this has become a core memory of mine. I might have said it in my previous live streams or just to you guys somehow, but I will never forget that in grade 6, I even remember what grade this is. In grade 6, I think I was shopping with my mom at a place that was discounted because I don't come from a rich family. So I did not grow up with a lot of money. At one point, like my family did have more money than like other points, but either way, in my mind, I was always not rich. It wasn't like poor to the point where like I couldn't eat food unless it was food stamps or anything like that, but I was just never rich. So my mom and I had, like, in grade 6, gone to and we obviously go to many places that are discounted, but I remember that there was this one place we went to, it was, like, discounted clothing or whatever. Not a thrift store, but it was just, like, cheaper clothing, like, it wasn't a branded clothing place, and then it was probably over the weekend. In school, when I got to middle school and I was in grade 6, there's a there's a guy that I am friends with. It's not like somebody that I crush on or whatever. There's just a guy in class. Not even actually not even we weren't even that close. He walked up to me and he was like, "Oh, Lucy, I saw you and your mom, like" I think he knew that was my mom, I don't even know. But he was like, "I saw you at that discounted place. Was that you?" And I remember just being embarrassed. Like, the first thing that crossed my mind, like, a normal person would have been like, "Yeah, that's me," right? But no, 6th grade me automatically, like, was just full embarrassment. I don't know if it's, like, being seen with my mom or, like but mostly it was not just being with 'cause I know, like, you know how, like, teenagers are, like, ugh, embarrassed by being with their parents or being seen with their parents and all that in front of their friends. I know that it might have been a little bit tiny bit of that, but it was mostly I knew deep in my heart that I was just, like, embarrassed that, like, oh, this classmate of mine saw me not shopping in a place that's considered expensive or branded. It was like a discounted place, so automatically, I just lied. I I was like, "No, that's not me." Like, I didn't say I don't ever go there. I was just like, "No, I wasn't there." When I was. And that's the type of thing. That's like that type of thing, like, sticks with you forever. At least it did for me, because what I did in that moment, it may sound like a little white lie, but it was not. It's so much bigger than that. The moment, like, I made the decision to not be okay with what I did and who I was, like, who I truly am, and like, a actual fact in the world of something that I did, and I had to, like, feel the need to deny it and feel the need to hide it, and basically make myself seem, I don't know, wealthier or more well off than I actually was. It doesn't actually make me feel good. It made me, like, now looking back, feel worse about myself, the fact that I felt the need to lie, and it's also, like, once you start it's like when you make one lie, it's like a giant snowball, you know, the saying is when you make one lie, you gotta lie again to cover up the previous lie, and then you gotta remember 2 lies, and then 3 lies, and then 4 lies. It's just never ending snowball of lies, and it sucks. It sucks because you're the only person that's truly getting hurt, and basically, by doing that, I started to it's a mask. Like, connecting this to what Jim Carrey says, this was, like, one of the I'm sure it's not the first time I made a lie, like, as a kid. If I did that but that was, like, a core memory for me. If I did that, I'm sure I did a whole bunch of other things. Just, like, if I ever was caught, um, somewhere I didn't feel like I wanted people to see me at or, um, like, anything that people might have confronted me on, I might have come up with a lie just to make myself sound better in my own mind, which is so crazy now that I think back at it. Um, but that was, like, the beginning to probably, like, a lot more moments in my life where it's like I wasn't proud of who I was or my family, financial status, and I felt the need to, like, come up with these lies or, like, make up this character in a sense or have this mask on, and it did not serve. It did not serve me because who I am today, like, right now, as I'm doing this live stream and owning up to even that past moment that I was so embarrassed of, I feel so much more at peace. I feel so much better. And I'm not saying that it was only that moment in grade 6 and in between my life. Like, I've never tried to make myself seem better, like, or my life is better than it actually is. I think that's automatically what society normally does, and that's why we talk about the whole thing of on social media, everything's fake and how people say everything on Instagram is fake because people are gonna post about the things that are great about themselves. They're never gonna post anything bad about themselves. So, in a sense, I'm still doing that. Like, I feel like I too am mostly talking about good things than bad things, especially with my family. But it has altered to the point where I feel like even though I am still a part of that little circus, I feel way happier today than I was in grade 6. Felt the need to, like, not own up to things, especially finances. I feel like the moment like, I just feel so much more free than before. Like, now when people ask me, like, friends of friends or whatever, like, "Oh, what do you do?" Or, like, um, no one really says, like, "Oh, how much money do you make?" Or, like, "How much money do you have?" Some people might be doing that, but usually when they're just, like, friends of friends, they're not gonna be like, "Tell me how much, like, is in your bank account." Like, that's weird. Even, like, your close friends wouldn't usually do that. Um, I mean, I do tell, like, my close friends. Like, all my best friends pretty much know, like, what I have, and what I don't have because I don't lie about it. But when I was younger, even the close friends I had at that time, and I really liked them, I didn't feel comfortable to, like, talk about money, or it wasn't my money rather, because in grade 6, what money do you have? Unless you're a trust fund baby, I don't know. But in grade 6, you don't have much money, and you just it's your parents' money. So I feel like as a kid, I started to, like, be embarrassed of the fact that, like, my family, because like, some of my friends were, like, way more well off, right? Like, children of, like, surgeons or doctors or whatever. So, some people at school just were way more well off, and I feel like if I didn't compare, so then I either would avoid talking about it or I wouldn't say the truth, like being at a discount place, like, I wouldn't say, "Oh, yeah, I went there." So, I feel so much more at peace, like, not having a mask on now in the current, and I truly believe that it doesn't matter what you currently lie about in your life or felt the need to lie about in your past. The moment we drop these lies, it is like it is like dropping a mask. It is like leaving that job that you hated because you were literally because you're literally acting. And it's like subconsciously you are going to be hurt by the fact that you felt the need to cover up your own reality. So I'm much happier now that if someone were to ask me, "Oh, did you go to the dollar store and buy that?" I'd be like, "Yeah, I did." And I'll be like, "You know what? This is a fantastic product that I bought." Like, I actually recently went to, I think is it Dollar Tree or the I always get them mixed up. Dollar Tree or Dollar Store. I recently went to the dollar store and I bought, like, this random exfoliator. Like, and I liked it, and I'm proud of that. Like, I don't feel ashamed that I would buy something from the dollar store. But me I don't know if that's just now I'm more grown up or I've just finally realized that doing that to myself and, like, lying about finances doesn't get you anywhere and it only makes you more sad. But yeah, I just think definitely owning up to things, no matter how unglamorous. With that being said, I totally understand when you have to lie or not say the full truth because whatever it is that you're saying incorporates other folks. So it's almost like if somebody else told you, like if I've had people around me have things that they don't want to be talked about, whether it's they're ashamed of it or they just don't feel comfortable sharing, and they told me to clearly not tell the truth and go along with the lie. I will go along with the lie because to me, it's not my if it's not my truth to tell and it's someone's lie to keep up with, it's like keeping a secret. I'll do it. But and that doesn't bother me because I'm not lying to uphold a certain mask, right? Maybe they are, but that's not my problem. But I've learned that the less masks you have, whether it's covering up from a breakup that maybe you're really embarrassed about, or maybe somebody cheated on you and you're really embarrassed about that, or maybe you cheated on someone else, or maybe you lost your job, or anything under the sun. People lie about, and especially in LA, or like getting plastic surgery and then not talking about it. Like there's just or being embarrassed about that. Just like there's so many things that people I have caught like straight up lying to my face. And even when I know the truth, it's like, well, I'm not gonna call you out because I feel I know it. It's like I've grown from that, so I know what it's like for people to feel the need because we're all human. We get embarrassed. We all would love if the world could look at us in like the best way possible, right? Who doesn't want people to look up to them? Who doesn't want, everyone to fall like madly in love with them and want to be your best friend? Like everybody wants that. But most of us don't have that. But we want it. We chase for it. So it's like we're all basically being a little delusional and chasing for this thing that doesn't actually exist when all you really have is yourself. But depression is very real. And when you do pile up all these masks, and I would just consider it like all like many, many different masks, the way that Jim Carrey explains it, your your whole entire body is basically going to reject it. And then that comes in the form of depression. Of course, there might be many other reasons to have depression. Like I've been very depressed at certain points in my life, not just for the masks, but it might have been the masks might have been a catalyst to a lot of things that I ended up doing. And then those things that I did ultimately brought me a lot of unhappiness. But it's really just like I think in life you just have to face things. There's a saying of like when you run away from something, you ultimately can't actually run from it because whatever you're running from, even if you think you've run away from it, your mind knows that it's still there. Like whether it's a piece of memory or it's a person you're running away from. So there's really no way to run away from something. You just have to face it. Even if it's a chapter that you have to write about in your diary or talk about to a friend or someone close to you. I feel like by letting go, owning it is just so much better than hiding from it or pretending and truly like lying to yourselves. Anyways, but we'll go back into it. I think to be happier, at least it really truly like I found that it really worked for me is that I have become a lot happier compared to back in the day when I was trying to curate this character or multiple masks to be seen in a certain way, to just to basically live in a lie where people view you in a certain way when it's not really true. And also, I was inspired to talk about this today because recently I found there's been a couple people that have friends of mine that have told me, like, I mean, we already know that whatever is on social media is like not that real, but I literally had someone tell me Um, like, they went on a vacation recently, and I was, like, saying, "Oh, like, that's great." Like, I'm obviously jealous of anybody that goes on vacation. I don't go on vacations often. Um, and I was like, "It must have been a great time." Like, even though what we usually see on social media, I know is, like, the best part of it, it's like people are always gonna show the best food that they ate, like, the most Instagram worthy looking food or the best concerts, and then the more mundane things, the more boring things they kinda, like, leave out. Like, for example, if I go to Spain, and I did eat McDonald's there, I'm pretty sure I did, but if I'm gonna eat fast food and I only can post 10 items on social media, you're not gonna post the part where you ate McDonald's, you're gonna post the part where you ate at a nicer restaurant, right? That's how most of us are. And that's the kind of, like, there's different tiers to it, like, when people talk about, I think, like, fakeness in social media, because that is, like, fake in a sense, what I just described, where we all try to show, like, the better parts, but we're not lying saying we didn't go to McDonald's or whatever on a trip. You're just not showing it off. So it makes it look like what you did is more, like, glamorous. But then there's the other kind, which is what one of my friends admitted to recently, that this trip that they had posted about, and it's glitz and glam and it looks wonderful and people are smiling in the pictures, was actually, like, just a catastrophe. Like, it was bad. It was, like, semi-enjoyable for a moment, and then it was bad. But their writing will not reflect that, like, in the little description area. The pictures will not reflect that, and that is the other part of social media where literally what you're seeing, because I don't wanna make it sound like, "Oh, everybody's post is totally fake," because I don't believe that. I've seen people, like, friends of mine who have lovely posts, and they are truly happy, like, whether it's with their boyfriend, girlfriend, spouses, or babies, like, there are people who are generally happy too, we gotta realize that. Not everything on social media is fake, like, just because someone's posting that it's their child's birthday or, like, they're really happy about it, doesn't mean they're faking it. Because I know there's another way of looking at social media where people are like, "Well, if you're actually so happy, then why are you posting about it?" Like, if you're so in love with your, like, boyfriend, why do you have to, like, write 10 paragraphs about it? Just shut up and be happy. So there's also that, um, where I feel like some people just want to show, like, their affection towards, like, their loved ones, and I also respect that when you don't show it off, it's also okay. Like, when me and my SO first got together, he does have an Instagram, but he pretty much doesn't go on it ever, and when we first got together, he would post more about me, and now he pretty much doesn't post at all, and it did bother me a little bit in the beginning because I was like, "Oh, well, why'd you stop now?" But then I also see, like, it's not like he posts anything else. It's not like he's posting about, I don't know, like, cars or something, and then not me and being like, "I love cars." So, I don't really feel, like, bothered or affected, but I understand if, like, let's say you're with someone, whether you're in the dating phase or you've been married for a long time, and your partner was posting a lot about you, and all of a sudden they choose to post about everything that they buy and materialistic things, or maybe pictures with other girls, and then I think we have a problem. So you just have to see for, like, per circumstance a situation, but not everything on social media is fake, and I don't think just because people wanna post about something, it necessarily means like, "Oh my god, something's wrong with them," because if you're so secure about it, why would you have to post? I don't believe that. I think it's just everyone's different, just like you might like to wear the color blue, and I might like to wear the color red. And I might like to go out in the nighttime, and you might like to go out in the daytime, but it doesn't mean, like, who's better, who's right, who's wrong. It's just literally preference. It's like we watch different Netflix shows. Maybe we actually do get along, but maybe we'll watch different things. So, I think that's different, but it's just a fact that there's liars in the real world, truth tellers in the real world, liars on the internet, and truth tellers on the internet. But anyways, so basically, this person that I know was telling me that they had a horrible time, and it's not, even though they posted fantastic things. And this is not the first time. This is just today. There's been a lot of people around me that have admitted to not being happy. When all I see are posts, like, on social media, and they're not like, when I say social media, I don't mean like this, like I'm doing it publicly. I'm talking about personal social media content for their loved ones and family and everybody they know that is on their, like, Instagram feed or whatever, or Snapchat or whatever you're using. So there's a lot of people that have admitted to me that they're not as happy, as what we see in social media, so that is and I've had a lot of friends tell me that they've had other friends tell them the same exact thing. So, I find that very interesting, though, like, how that works. Sometimes I think about it. I'm like, "I wonder if that's gonna change," right? Because I think right now, 100 years could go by, 50 years could go by, and there'll just be more of these moments of people owning up to it and people telling friends like, "Oh, I'm not actually that happy, but this is what I post," and it's never ending. But I but it could end. What if and again, this is just my guess, but I hope it becomes true that maybe in, like, 20 years, 30 years, 50 years, there's more of this talk where we're all owning up to each other, of just understanding that our realities is just not as glamorous and amazing as we would hope to show to the world. And maybe it'll get to a point where, what if 50 years from now, on social media, people are gonna show more of what's real and just less of what's glamorous? What if the posts stop being about being in, I don't know, first class on a plane and what Michelin star restaurants that people are going to, whether it's on dates or for themselves or on a get together, and more of just like, I don't know, maybe you got a new record on League of Legends or Fortnite or whatever, and you're really proud of it, or Grand Theft Auto. I don't even know, I don't play Grand Theft Auto, but I just know people are waiting for, like, the next game. Um, yeah, what if social media just becomes more of, like, more mundane things? Maybe that's what I hope for because I feel like maybe that's better for people's mental health. Or people start actually posting more things that are just hilarious, more like FML, and posting things like, "Oh my gosh, like, I just lost my job. LOL." Actually, I don't know why anyone would do that and be like, "LOL," 'cause that would suck. But maybe there'll be more humor in the future. I don't know. Maybe everybody's gonna be more funny or take things less seriously. I would like to live in a world like that, where if most people lost their jobs or unemployed and whatever, they'll just post about it and just tell the truth. Because Lord knows, like, there's literally so many TikToks that I will see about LA from LA people being like, I just saw one earlier where this girl was like, "Life in LA is like going to a coffee shop at 2 AM on a Wednesday." Oh, sorry, 2 PM on a Wednesday, and wondering how are there other people that are able to sit at this really nice coffee shop and do nothing on a Wednesday at 2 PM. There's a lot of people that are just unemployed, but they're not gonna, say that. Maybe they'll tell you they're the founder of something or trust fund baby, I don't know. Make up some lie or say they are a crypto millionaire. There's just so many ways to wear masks, but at the end of the day, my point is, I think to be happier, find more peace in life for yourself, and just overall make things easier because, like, I've told white lies, I've told lies, and I think when you do lie, it just hurts you the most in the sense where it's tiring to keep up with the lie. It's hard. You just ultimately feel bad that you can't own up to it. Like, I just think that when you own up to things and you say, "Yes, this is actually what happened," I'm sure in some I can't explain in any scientific terms, but I could feel my body being a lot more relaxed. Like, I think the world would just be a better place if we're all just more real with each other. And sure, maybe people are gonna judge you more for it. I mean, like, "Oh, wow, like, that's a rough life you have." And maybe they don't wanna be your friend as much. Because I think a lot of the times people make these fake personas or wear these fake masks or even like, just fake things in general. Like, why why would someone rent out, let's say, or oh, a great example would be when someone is maybe renting out a really expensive home or a car, just leasing a really expensive car, maybe even for a day, and then they, like, post it on social media or tell other people, like, "That's mine," which I have heard about in the past, and, like, these things or even when, like, when you wear, like, I don't know, maybe, like, fake, uh, Chanel, like, outfit, and you're like, "Oh, that's telling people that's real," which I'm sure there are people who do that too. All of these things at the end of the day, even if you got away with it, which I highly doubt, I feel like a lot of people think that they can get away with it and think that other people don't think about where you got the money or if you can even afford that. It's not hard to calculate, honestly. Like, if I know someone's job and I know the salary that they make, and if they're driving a Lambo and it doesn't add up, and I know you're not a trust fund baby, then I know that Lambo's not yours. Like, it's just common sense. And maybe people are I don't know, maybe common sense is not that common. Sometimes I wonder maybe people are saying these lies and trying to keep up with these lies because they think that everyone's dumb and that everyone doesn't see the truth of how maybe you're getting that item. Or maybe like, oh, or we know you leased it, or we know it's not real, or maybe it's your friends, it's not actually yours. Which, by the way, I've seen some crazy stories where like there'll be people that are influencers, or they try to make a lot of money as an influencer, but they're like stealing their friends' content. Like make friends with rich people, and then they'll like take their friends' stories because if their face is not in it and it's just like a story of the friend's home or whatever, then they like block their friend, take the stories, put it on their own stories for their public social media just to convince other people how rich they are. Like, that is some wild stuff, but I've also heard about that. Um, and I think at the end of the day, yeah, you're just gonna go home feeling bad about yourself that you can't tell the truth about your own situation. Or maybe people are only doing that because they wanna make more friends, or maybe they want to, date someone that is more, like, upper class or makes more money and is in a better situation than they are, so they feel the need to kinda, like, match up to that, whatever it may be. I almost feel like and it's like when I was younger, I was always told that, like, "Oh, real estate agents have to almost drive a nice car because you wanna show that you're successful. You want like, a salesperson should show that they're successful because if you're not a successful person, you don't drive a nice car, and you're gonna go with, like, a broken car with, like, multiple scratches, a car from year 2000, then they're not gonna trust you with their business." I feel like I can almost understand that a lot more, though. Like, if you're doing it for business and your ultimate goal is not to put on a mask like, "Oh my gosh, I want this person to like me more because I'm lying about being, like, an heir to a like, a hotel chain or something like that." If you're doing it because you're you're leasing a car that's way nicer than it is, or maybe you paid a lot of money that you actually can't afford, but you got this outfit and now you're gonna do, like, a real estate showing and you're trying to make money that way, I don't know. I'm more okay about it in that sense for someone trying to do that because then they're not really not okay with themselves, they're just trying to make a sale, and it's more, like, money related instead of being like, "Oh, I am fully, like, lying about who I am, what I do, possibly even what I like, just to, fit in into, like, a certain group." I think that's way more tiring. Or, like, imagine, like which I'm sure certain girls do as well, lying about everything about yourself, like, what you do or maybe even, like, what wines you like, everything about yourself in order to make yourself into this thing or to this human that you think a certain guy would like, which people do this stuff. And it's just seems so tiring and it will eventually like the truth always comes out in the end. And I feel like the people that you do gather around you through this fakeness or these masks, like they're not the right people to keep. And what's crazy, and then I'm like, I've experienced this where I've posted things in the past where I mean, I was just with people who are like in a much higher financial caliber than I was. And so I had access to nicer places, and I'll take pictures and post it on my social media. I would never say like, "Okay, this is like welcome to my mansion." But like, I'm just like any other regular person. Like I like to show nicer things as well. So I would post nicer things, nicer environments at one point in my life. And it is crazy how the people that either had me on social media or knew me, who never talked to me, had no interest in me before, would then comment on what I posted. And even some that tried like get in on whatever it is that they don't even know what I was a part of, but they would just be like, "Oh, like, can I come with you in the future to like this and that?" But it's like, "Bro, we're not even friends." So, you will attract the complete wrong crowd of people when you are just flaunting things that either aren't yours or you're not in control of. And ultimately, these people do not want to like, thank God I understood that. And I never got close to people that wanted to basically use me in order to either know other people or get in on the money. So, thank God I knew that in the back of my mind. So even when I have ever posted anything that was like nice and then attracted a certain crowd, I always just brush those people off. I would never be like, yeah, go along with it and act and any part of me truly believe that this person cared about me because that's the same sense as like, okay, if you did drive a Lambo, maybe people will look at you, a girl or a guy, they might look at you, they might want to befriend you, they might want to date you. But then you just have to imagine, okay, if I didn't have these things, like, would they even want to talk to me? Like, if I didn't have this item today, or if I even for like social media, let's say you had like 10 million followers and someone is approaching you. Maybe they want to grow to your extent or they want to use you for clout. I don't know. There's just so many different ways of being used by people. So in a sense, when we're wearing these masks or trying to be more like it's at the end of the day, I think that everything just comes down to insecurities, which we all have, and wanting to be loved more. Maybe we didn't get enough from our parents, I don't know. Or you didn't or you got rejected as a child from the guy you liked or the girl you liked. I think we all have, like, these insecurities where we even if you, like, subconsciously don't understand it, rejection, abandonment causes more of this wanting of being loved by everybody. And being well liked. And even if you never got rejected and you had a happy home and your parents love each other and you grew up with a lot of money, that doesn't end there. There's still people like that and have seem to have it all, or at least a lot more than most Americans. They still want more because then they're comparing themselves to what I just said, like people with maybe 10 million followers and even more money, or maybe a partner that they are jealous of. And you're just constantly like want more. So then you want to like curate this thing that's not you just to be more well liked. So I feel like we all kind of do it in a sense. Um, but depression is very real. And a lot of the times I truly, truly agree with this Jim Carrey quote. I think he's very wise to have come up with this. I don't know where he was inspired from this, but yeah, putting on masks, your body will literally show you that it's rejecting it and that it's tired. And that will come in the form of depression. And depression, by definition, this is just on Google AI overview. Depression is because I think everyone, and when I say the word depression, I feel like a lot of times it's thrown around, especially in social media nowadays. Like everyone's very dramatic. It's different for everyone, I think, because no one knows exactly what you go through. And we can all say, oh, like, just like I said earlier, like, I felt like I was really depressed. It's not like I went to a doctor and the doctor was like, Lucy, you're clinically depressed. But to me, that was beyond sadness. Like, I felt sadness throughout my life. And at one point in my life, I felt truly depressed where I would cry many nights. Couldn't actually even count how many nights um, in rows. And then some days it would stop and it would come back again. And it was just really bad. It was a very, very dark time is a proper way to explain it, of my life. So I would label that as depression, but someone else may have it way harder than me, but then they would look at what I went through and they'd be like, "Oh, that was a piece of cake." Or I might look at someone else saying that they're super depressed because maybe they didn't get the handbag that they wanted, and I would just be like, "Oh, well, that doesn't seem that bad." So I think, like, we all could potentially judge each other for what we label as the word super sad or even sad or depressed. So, first off, there's that. But the AI review on Google says depression is a mood disorder characterized by persistent feeling of sadness and a loss of interest or pleasure in activities you once enjoyed. It can also involve difficulties with thinking, memory, eating, and sleeping. While everyone experiences sadness at times, depression is more persistent and severe condition that can significantly impact daily life. None of that sounds good. And that is true. I do agree with it. Although I wouldn't say I agree with like I experience everything that I just said. I don't think like everyday activities like when I was depressed through a very dark period of my life, like I think well now I'm not depressed. I believe I'm not depressed. I feel like I'm actually very happy now. I can watch a show and enjoy it. But when I was depressed, things that like even a show that would normally bring me joy, if I watched it, my mind would be stuck on whatever it is that was bothering me during the dark times, and I wouldn't be able to. So that's one example. Um, Eating, I wouldn't say it really affected me that much, to be honest. I still ate. It's just that food didn't taste as good because my mind is clouded with the thing that I couldn't get over. So, and again, if you're dealing with something really rough, I hope you either consult a professional or find someone that you trust to talk about it because I do find that talking about it with people that I trust helped along the way. Although I also am a believer that even if you don't have like a lot of best friends or a significant other or a family to say things to, I've gotten over a lot of things just completely by myself. Journaling really helps for me. So I highly recommend like when you have something that feels like it can't be solved. And sometimes things can't be solved, but I'm still going to think about it over and over until I come out with like a path that I'm okay with for living my life, knowing that this thing had happened. Right. So journaling really, really helps for me. Um, Going on hikes with a nice view also helps. Personally, I found that very helpful. I did that a lot. Not one hike, I had to do many. Um, Going on many hikes with good views while thinking about the situation or really, I think, like, when I go through something really rough, I'll think about, like, my whole life. Like, unfortunately, that's how my brain works. But it's both unfortunate and helpful because I feel like when I go through something really rough, I'll be like, "Man, my life sucks," and I'll think about all the other terrible things, like, they'll just all come at me at once, like, all those memories surfacing, and I'll be like or I'll, like, blame myself for all the moments of things that I did wrong that might have led me up to that point, whether it did or did not, that's just how I'm gonna feel, um, and that's gonna feel extra terrible at one point, but then because I'm reflecting upon, like, the entirety of my life, I'll also come up with moments that I'm really grateful for, like, what I do have in my life, people in my life, family, friends, and everything I've overcome. So I do believe that journaling really helps in just like thinking hurts almost when you're going through something really rough. But then when I try to think in a more productive way, like figuring out all the things that I'm grateful for and thankful for, even though all those other memories surface of all my other past mistakes, overall, I found it to be very helpful for me to get over a lot of moments. That one very depressive, dark period of my life and many other super sad moments. So, yeah. And then eventually, like, how I deal with it is usually I don't tell my best friends. I don't even tell my family if something really, really bad is going on. Um, I deal with it myself. And then after I've dealt with it, again, everybody's different. So this may not be your way. This may not be your cup of tea. Your way might be going directly to, you know, someone very important to you that you could trust and just spilling it all out and then feeling way better afterwards. For me, it's more I deal with it myself. And then later on, if I want to share it, I will then share it with someone that's very important to me and that I know can also handle it. And I feel like they're not judging me for it because that's very important. You have to feel safe with whoever you plan on saying this to. If you're even questioning that what you're saying to whoever you're saying to could judge you, I mean, they may still judge you even if you think they won't, but hopefully you're saying it to a very safe space where that person is not gonna judge you. That person is they don't have to be a yes man, like, they don't have to be like, "Oh my god, don't worry about it, like, you totally didn't make a mistake." I hope I hope they're not doing that because that's not that helpful either, but I hope whoever you're saying it to, when you say it out loud, at least when I find, like, when I say something out loud, it makes it less, like, that big of a deal. I feel like when you keep things secret, and again, that's like the mask thing. When we keep things a secret and when we feel like we can't tell anyone or it's something you just wanna, like, fake it and not confront, it makes it all the worse. Because there are just there's 8 billion people. We all go through so much stuff. It's like, you think you're so original and, like, I think, like, same thing with, like, when people come try to come up with, like, business strategies, like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna come up with the coolest idea, and I'm gonna make so much money." We all think we're so original, but there are so many people that probably had the same thought, and therefore, in a way, that's kinda nice that you're not original, like, I mean, you might be really, really interesting, and you might come up with really original thoughts, but at the same time, there's most likely someone else that have thought of it, even for, like, a millisecond. You may never meet them or know them, which also gives me hope that there's definitely people out there that have experienced near, like, almost to the exact centimeter of what I experience in life, unfortunate, relationships, getting cheated on. That's something that's definitely I know people have gone through, even in my media circles. So all these things that sometimes we are ashamed of or think like no one's ever been through it, or what I told you guys earlier about feeling the need to put on a mask and lie about where I shopped. I feel like there's a lot of people do the exact same thing. We may not just talk about it, but we're all just human trying to make it. So, anyways, that's what I wanted to share with you guys. I hope you enjoyed this little chat over here. There will be more. I literally have so much I want to talk about. And again, everything that I say is mostly just based off of my own experiences, a lot of it, because I feel comfortable sharing like embarrassing things about myself. I will not ever say so and so that even if someone that I know is watching this will ever feel like I'm saying something about them or someone that they know. I don't feel comfortable about that. I don't want to like I'll be okay with sharing things without making anyone feel uncomfortable. So, but I think it is important to share stories with each other and with more other humans so that we all feel more connected and understand that we're not going through it alone as even though a lot of the times you do feel like you're alone. Raw food writer, syndicate, Roxy user, when moon. I don't know. I hope it's soon though. I'm still have hopes for end of 2025. Um, so yes, I love LA for the weather, but then honestly, like, I think I think I could live anywhere. I think I'm at the age where I think when I was younger, it's like you only want to be in the most popular cities. And I think that's still the case for most young people. You're like, "Oh, I just wanna be in, like, New York or LA." But now I think it's for me, it's more like I could live anywhere. I feel like I could live anywhere in the world. It doesn't have to be, like, a major city. Although I do like the city life. I think anyone could be happy anywhere. It's more important to be happy in here. Like, truthfully, more important than money, more important than anything is your health, and mental health is, like, one of the most important things in the world. Do you still own your Chubby Cattle NFT? User one wants to know. Yes, I do. I don't know if I linked it here for my NFT referral, but it's definitely on the main channel. So if you want to also get a Chubby Cattle NFT, or I think it's called Chubby Group NFT technically, because Chubby Group owns Chubby Cattle, the restaurant chain, and they have a bunch of other restaurants. It's an umbrella company, and once you have the Chubby Group NFT, then you can go to all these other restaurants with certain perks, different perks. But I still have it. I love it. Which actually reminds me I need to go to Chubby Cattle again. Thank you guys so much. As usual, please hit the like button if you like this video, and I hope you take something away or was entertained to some extent. And I'll see you next time. Take care of yourselves. Bye.